Hey guys, it's Penelope in London, and I want to talk about the aspect today, which is Mars, which is square to Pluto. And I want to explain what happened earlier in the year. I'm using solar fire. And also I'm going to bring up a few aspects. So what we're going to look at is that we've got Mars. If you can see, Mars is here at 21 degrees Aries. And then we've got Pluto in Capricorn at 23 degrees of Capricorn. Okay, Pluto, Capricorn. Then what we've also got is this symbol here is called Eris, E-R-I-S. You might like to look that up, Google, and I will explain a little bit. She is the goddess of discord, and Eris moves very slowly. Eris takes 560 years to move around the chart, and Pluto takes about 240 years. I'm just giving you averages here. And then we've got Neptune, which is 180 odd years. And then we've got also Uranus, which is 84, and then 84 years around the chart. So the last time that was there would have been, if we go back 84 years, 2020 minus 84, that would have been there in 1936. So we can see how cycles play out. It's different because we don't get the same configurations as the planets keep moving at different speeds, different houses and different signs, but we can begin to see from the past. Now, what we have on the 21st, the solstice, we're going to have Saturn and Jupiter is going to hit 0 degrees. You can see here we're literally at the final degrees of Jupiter and Saturn being in the sign of Capricorn, and they're moving away from Pluto. And they will go in here on the 21st. But the Mars-Pluto we've had earlier this year. So I'm going to push this chart forward in a minute, but let's look at the Mars-Pluto, because if I go forward a couple of days, in fact, I might need to animate this chart, so give me a second. I'm going to new share, and this is the animated page I want. So let's go here. And what we have is that we've got Mars square Pluto. This, what it means, it's about power struggles and confrontations. And this is because we've got intense desire to gain control over others or of situations. So with Pluto there in the sign of Capricorn, this can be government wanting to take control over us wanting to take control over our lives. It can work out in many different ways. And it's also where we want to be getting on with things and like getting ahead to achieve, a position, but it can also make us want to play safe, and also that, where we would just want to dominate or challenge, or we get dominated or challenged. And it's about, it's to do with our ego, because Pluto is to do with all that's unconscious. So when we're feeling, if we think about when we're feeling unhappy with somebody, a situation, a relationship, a job, and we keep having repeating patterns in relationships, for instance, they're generally imprints. We can look at the possibility of past lives if we believe in that, and also the imprints from childhood that we don't remember. So we have a structure within us that's unconscious and we play out in life. And this is what's going on in society at the moment. So when we had Pluto-Saturn conjunction earlier this year, when all of the COVID thing kicked off, Pluto was conjunct Saturn, and we at that time then had our lockdown, and Mars went over all of those planets. So in March, around that time, I can actually show you as well. I can just take this chart back and then bring it forward again. But what we're doing at the moment is that we don't want to be repressing, this urge to, because we've got a very strong urge to get on with things, but in a way we are suppressing it because of this Pluto Capricorn. And then also we need to avoid being a victim, and know that, if we keep moving forward, we can get to the place we want to go and strive for our success. We need to watch out for jealousy, and also for being overly pushy and assertive, because this is not just the Pluto, this is to do with the Mars as well. It's the square. and we don't want to, because we can be impulsive with this Mars in Aries. And it's where we, you know, people are sort of can abuse their power at this time as well. And we can see a lot of this going on. We can see a lot of this playing out. Now, what I want to do is show you, I'm going to go back with this chart by weeks. I think, in fact, maybe, let's see, there are 52 weeks in the year and we're near the end of the year. So let's just go back. Watch this chart. I'm going backwards. We've got the 16th of December, 2020 there. So I'm going to go back 4 weeks to begin with. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see that we have 15 degrees of Mars. Now, if I go back another week, you can see that that was retrograde at that time. And then if we go back, Mars was retrograde for 10 weeks and we're going backwards in time. So the 11th of November, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There you go. It was stationary on the 9th of September. It was just about to go retrograde. So let's go back. So it was 27 degrees. And then it went, watch this, it was 27 degrees. And at that time it was in a weak square. It already been square to Pluto, but it was still in a square at this point. Then it went retrograde. So it was, if we go back, hang on a sec. There you go, 27, 28. Then it went backwards. So watch it stationed. Then it went retrograde. So we're going ahead in weeks now. This is the 16th of September. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. You see that square here? That was the 7th of October. Let me go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is today. So this is where we're at. So that Mars has been, you know, it's already, it was at 28 degrees and then it went retrograde and now it's going forward again. But in that, it's hitting Pluto again. So where we're at the moment, if we look at today's chart, we got the Sun conjunct Mercury. So you can see the Sun here, conjunct Mercury. So this aspect is where we can basically, you know, this is very good. A lot of art comes out of this and being able to speak and perform. And I have this aspect, actually. I do have my Sun conjunct Mercury. A lot of people have this because the Sun takes a year to move around the chart and Mercury takes 88 days and then it goes retrograde 3 to 4 times a year. So a lot of people have this aspect, not only me. So you can look on your chart to see if you have it. So this can make us intellectual and very subjective in our thinking, but we can lack objectivity with this as well. And, you know, or the ability to see things from outside ourselves. We can think everything's to do with us. So we've got to watch for that. The Sun is trining Mars at the moment at 24 degrees. You can see here it's going to be exact in a few days. And this is harmonious for us. And it gives us the ability to reach some goals and assert some of our energy. And there can be some impatience with that also, because Mars can be to do with impatience and the Sun wants to get on with things and to manifest. And then we got the Sun square Neptune. So I want you to pay attention here, because the Sun and then Neptune is to do with, you know, it can be our woo-woo land, or it can be where we're disillusioning ourselves. So with this aspect, you know, if you have this aspect in your chart, we would say, you know, to stay away from drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. Generally, we would say that anyway, but, you know, people live on planet Earth, so they do all sorts of things to disassociate, and also not making fun, but really to get rid of the pain that we have, you know, because it softens. A lot of people will have a drink after work or whatever. A lot of alcohol or drug use is because people have pain. If you look at Gabor Mate on YouTube, you'll understand if you have any addictions going on. Addictions are not just drugs and alcohol, they're also codependency, relationships, entanglement with family, that can be an addiction, all sorts, food addictions, and, you know, Facebook addictions. I love my Facebook, so one could say she's addicted, but I, you know, I like to be creative on Facebook. So we need to really, you know, we've got to be careful how we're looking to solve our problems with this aspect. And then the moon moves quickly, but it's squaring Mars at the moment. And the moon is also sextile to Neptune. So the moon is 19 degrees of Capricorn. So we can look at what the moon is hitting. It's in conjunct at the moment to our north node. So And then it's also conjunct to Pluto today. So you can see that it's conjuncting Pluto in the coming hours. So this aspect can cause us to be stubborn and can cause conflict. And we need to, we maybe don't want to compromise, but it's a good thing to do. It's where we can hide our true feelings and have our emotional outbursts as well. And, so we just want to watch out for the next few hours that we're being a bit more mindful of how we are, because we can be affected by this, because the moon is the ego as well. And the ego is not all bad. We have healthy ego, and then we have unhealthy. So we use our ego dependent on our levels of understanding and awareness and levels of consciousness. So the moon is not just, completely ego run. As we gain wisdom and we learn things through life, we're able to objectify better. So we're not completely run on it. But, to an extent, we do have the unconscious going on. So also we got the Mercury trining Mars. So Mercury is separating, and that's harmonious as well. It gives us the ability to act and think fast, because Mars is also in Aries, and Mercury currently is in Capricorn. If we look at that, you can see there, and Mars in Aries. And then we've got the Mercury square the Neptune. So that can be complicate our practical life as well. And we need to watch out for that. Venus is sextile to Jupiter, another harmonious aspect. Venus, you can see up here, and it's sextile to Jupiter there. You can see that. And I would say that also to Saturn. So, both a bit of harmony for us there. And Venus takes 224 days to move around the chart. Yeah, Venus is here. And Venus is in 1 degree of Sagittarius at the moment. It's just moved into Sagittarius. It's at its 1st degree. So then we've got Mars square Pluto, which is what I was explaining to you, and where we're stubborn and determined, and we can hurt other people's feelings. So we need to be kind to each other and be mindful. And the Jupiter conjunction to Pluto, and there can be contradiction here, and we're fighting for our truth. That's okay, because we have to do that. And Saturn conjunct Pluto also. It's weak, but it's still, you can see they're 29 degrees, they're 6 degrees apart, and they're separating. So the conjunction brings with Saturn, it's about our self-control and how we, it's profound change, it's transformation and development of our personalities. And then the Jupiter is where we're looking at politics, religion, and psychology, and also it's profound in that it is to do, with the depths, below the surface, and it can work dependent on how this, which one's going to win with Jupiter and Pluto. Who's going to win? It's like birth, death, transformation, Pluto and Jupiter truth. So as they're moving off, we're going to have hopefully a bit of break in the coming. We've got other things going on, but we're moving forward. It's good. It's all going to be okay. I have to say that much from what I can see by the chart. It's not going to be a walk in the park, but we're not at a loss to be moving forward. Then what we have is that the let's have a look. MC trine Mars. So we'll look at the MC. The North Node is opposing the Sun, and this brings conflict to us. So then you see the North Node here is opposing the Sun, and this is conflict between our will and what we've got to get on with. And it can cause indecisiveness in us. And because we've got, there's chaos going on, and it's restraining us as well. It's like these restraints that we're feeling. And then we've got the node opposition to Mercury as well currently at the moment. You see up here, that's 19, that's 22 degrees. And it's the positive thing is that, it can bring some intelligence in, but also the difficult side of this is that, we may not be able to focus very clearly on where we're going. We might feel a bit looking for good reasons as well, to stop us from focusing on what we want to be focusing on. And we can see that playing out in society because we're on lockdown again and we don't know if we're coming or going. But it's not going to last forever, this situation. The node is sextile to Mars. So you can see here the node is sextile to Mars. And this gives us determination, which is much needed at this time. And we're able to fight with passion for what's important to us. So that's worth knowing. And it's basically, it was, this is separating because it was a few days ago, it would have been an exact sextile, but now it's, moving off. Mars is moving forward, so it's coming out of that sextile in time. And then the node square Neptune is a difficult one here that we're trying to figure out. So the nodes square Neptune, and we have this T-square to the Sun, to the node, to Neptune as well. So we're struggling with this in humanity because we don't know if we're coming or going. Neptune is what's beyond this realm. So let's take this chart back, just for fun. I'm going to go by months to the beginning of the year. We're going to go back to January 16th, 2020. So watch Mars, and we're going to go weeks ahead because I can move this quite quickly. It's quite fun to watch this as well. So watch this Mars, and we can see there are other things going on as well, but I don't want to complicate this video today. So watch Mars. Mars is the can opener, and it like activates the other planets. So this is what happened. We had the Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter was moving on in, and this is what happened. So week 1, 16th of January, and I'll go 4 weeks ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see that Mars was 27 degrees of Sagittarius. Then we go a week ahead. It was into Capricorn. We can see what's going on here, the 20th of February. We have the Pluto-Saturn conjunction, by the way, when they were both at 23 degrees, 22, 23 degrees. Then we went, if you don't know astrology, I would have to explain this deeper. But if you understand it, then if you don't, you can book a session with me as well. You look at your own chart with me and get some development going on childhood trauma, wounds, imprints, complex PTSD, looking at the codependency that we have and evolving. So keep going forward now. We got the 27th of February, and then we had lockdowns. So we go 1, 2, this is lockdown. The Mars went over the South Node, then it would have gone over Jupiter in the coming days. So then we go 12th of March, this is the 19th of March, and then it's gone over, at that point, we've gone into lockdown. It went over Jupiter, which is to do with law, truth, overseas, and to do with the bigger picture in the sense of it rules Sagittarius. And then it would have gone over Pluto. Let's go a week ahead. And it would have gone over Saturn. You can see that there. So this was the 2nd of April. I won't go on about all of the aspects, but we're just looking at this. And we've also got that Pluto would have been square to Uranus at that time. So that's April. I'll go 4 weeks ahead again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mars is in Aquarius at that point. And we're another 4 weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we began to have the Floyd situation, and Mars was, you might remember when everybody was kneeling, and this is to do with spirituality, but it's also to do with, it can be very disillusioning at this point. So when that was 10 degrees on the 28th of May, and then 14 degrees on the 4th of June. So we had the marches, if you recall, we had people kneeling and we had the marches going on and such like in the USA and in the UK as well, or, in many countries. So then it moved over, that was the 18th of June. Mars moved over Neptune. So these aspects are fascinating. I mean, the more you understand astrology, then it hit Chiron the wound, which is the collective wound, but also on our own chart, it would have aspected different things, if you get what that means. Then it went over, then it would have hit Lilith. And then, if you see Mars here, it would have hit Lilith. This is just incredible. The Mars, Lilith, which is our shadow, the feminine, but the masculine, then the feminine, it would have hit the shadow. And then Carl Jung, Gustav Jung's work, Lilith, the more I look at Lilith, it equates to the shadow in our lives, what's not seen, what we struggle with. And then we had this go over Eris, which is EIRIS, Eris, and she is the goddess of discord, and that would have gone over, and then it would have got to 28, 27, and then it would have gone retrograde. You see here, retrograde would have gone all the way back, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 10 weeks, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, went back to 15 degrees, then it started going forward again. We're the 3rd of December. I hope I'm not too fast for you. This is my Gemini sun, Gemini moon. And then it's now just going to coming up to 23 degrees, so 6th, 10th. And here we are, the 17th. So this is tomorrow. The chart that I'm talking today, this is the 16th of December. And that's the 21 degrees. And then it's going to go over Eris, goddess of discord. And we've got Pluto hitting Mars here, and it's also on Eris, and Eris is retrograde, but she hardly moves, I have to say. And then we've got also, we've got, you see, this is Uranus, which is breaking free of limitations, and we've got also the Lilith here as well. So up to the conjunction, which is on the 21st, you can see that this is what the chart looks like. This is the 21st. We got the Sun conjunct Mercury in Capricorn at 0 degrees. We've got Pluto squaring to Eris and Mars. And then we've got just goddess of discord and like our anger and impulsiveness. And we can see where this is heading. But we can imagine we're all on lockdown again. So we will be coming out of this. I'll do a couple more videos on that. But I reckon, predicting, probably next spring. And there are probably going to be new rules and regulations. What we got here as well, we got the conjunction. So the last time these two were in Aquarius together, conjunct, not at 0 degrees, but at a different degree, was in 1226. And when it was when Genghis Khan was leader of the world. And a year later after that, he left planet Earth, he died. So there's some history for you as well. So let's see where this goes, because breaking free of limitations, the shadow, Eris, goddess of discord, conjunct Mars, Jupiter conjunct Saturn, so restriction and expansion. And we've also got this conjunction here. So this is a wild chart, and it will be the solstice as well. Okay, that's it. I'm leaving it there, and I'll catch you later.